Hello, my dear friends. Welcome in the new episode of Be a Master. And today we have a very beautiful master from Chennai who started her journey at very young age. So she has been into a lot of services as well. She balanced her professional life and spiritual life in a better way. She's chartered accountant by profession. So let's hear her. How does she manages everything? How she started her journey? How she contribute her energy? And how she balance her surroundings. So welcome Deepika in the episode of our Be a Master.
Welcome, thank you.
So how are you feeling Deepika in MDMC this year?
It's feeling so great. It's a celebration we are doing after Patriji had left his body. So I never expected this much of crowd to come here with the same celebration, with the same spirit what we enjoyed in the last year that is carried over. So it's so beautiful to be here as part of this Patriji Dhyana Jagath.
That's great. Yeah. Even we didn't never expected that this much of crowd. I think more than lakhs people came over here. So, how did you start your meditation journey and when?
16 years back, I started doing meditation. I was introduced to meditation through my mom. So, my mom was facing so many physical illness and then mental tensions. So, she was into search for meditation. And when she got into this Ana-Pana-Sati meditation, within a week's time, we were able to see the inner transformation. Like she had that calmness, coolness, and she started treating us in a friendly way. Previously, it wasn't that way, so it was totally different to see my mom in that kind of attitude and all. So then we encouraged her to do meditation continuously. So we thought that was her requirement, and she is doing that. But after a point of time, she started telling us like, you even need to meditate. Meditation is not just for old people, it is for everybody. So even students have to do meditation, and it's the right time for kids to do the meditation. So we need to impart this education of meditation, everything, right from the small younger age. So we were like, she is just blabbering, she is just being brainwashed by people surrounding her, asking her them to propagate this meditation practice to everybody. So I thought it wasn't my cup of tea. So that's how it was. But just because I have to satisfy my mom, I sit in meditation, namesake, just 5 minutes or 10 minutes, whatever was possible. But after a point of time, I started taking it seriously when I observed the changes inside me, and when I observed the changes in my career and performance. So that's how I started doing meditation seriously with my
Okay, so what was your age that time?
I was in seventh grade, and in the seventh grade, I wasn't that serious. But when I moved to eighth grade, in my school, in my class, there are a group of people. So they had a mutual understanding among themselves that first 10 ranks should go only to them. They wouldn't leave that place to anybody outside their gang. And they used to do combined studies, engage in phone calls, and then teach one another whatever they knew about. So it was like a confidential thing which was going for only that group of people.
Mm-hmm.
And immediately after the exams, when each and every teacher comes and distributes the papers, no, the test papers, the results, they used to put the ranking like who is in the top level. So at that point of time, they started taking my marks. I was wondering, why are these guys coming to me? Am I even going to go to that top 10 rank? I was scoring around 70 percentage or something, but to be in the top 10 rank, you need to score at least 90 percentage. I felt like they are, that's a funny thing which is going on. But after a point only, I understood that I am in fifth rank. So
Oh,
I was wondering, I never invested much time into studies. I was doing the same hours of studies, but still I was able to excel in my education. So I was wondering what was the reason, and then I understood it is because of meditation. My focus, my concentration level, my grasping power, all these have increased.
right. That's really beautiful. And understanding in that age, it's itself a great thing. I think you are three siblings, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I have my younger sibling and elder sibling. So everybody is into meditation. So first it was my mom, but later it was like everybody got involved, and everybody saw the transformation in our own life, and we started taking with our personal interest. Even
Mm-hmm.
my dad, he's a doctor. but still after this meditation came into his life, even though he was practicing doctor as a profession, he still used to teach meditation to all his patients also. Like
Wow.
so many of them have observed the transformation in them, like they used to reduce the medicine to some dosage, and gradually they used to leave the medicines also. They are able to find the calmness.
Mm-hmm.
So though
Yeah.
dad is a doctor, I never touched medicine. So it was always no doctor, no medicine. So though he's a doctor, he's still a father to me, and we never take medicine.
Yeah, that's really wonderful thing. Yes, as Patrice said, and you are just following the same thing. And is there any health-wise improvement in your family? You said about your mom, right?
Yes.
So, which kind of issues she had before?
She had a kind of nervous nerve issues, and then knee pain, joint pains, so many, like a headache, like something or the other used to go on. Like always she used to take medicine, even mentally also, like she used to always be in an irritated mood. So all these were like changed to a betterment after she
Hmm.
started meditation. And even myself, like whenever I am down with the fever, or I get some stomach pain or something, because of the monthly cycle, even at that point of time, like when I'm not able to tolerate the pain, I used to take medicines. But after I came into meditation, Patriji told, okay, no medicine, why shouldn't I try that? I have to take it as an experiment, and then I have to practice it first before I teach to somebody. So that's how it started. So uh, when I'm down with the fever, what I do is I just play Patriji's flute music, and then I place the pyramid on my head or somewhere, and then I sit into meditation for long hours, listen to that, and then sleep, listening to the music itself. And I found the change. And not just this, when my mom is into spiritual works, she used to share whatever she's doing, like whether she's reading the book or translating some articles from languages. She used to interact with us, tell us what she's doing. So by listening to all those Patriji's concepts, spiritual concept, gradually that temperature would come to normal thing, and my stomach pain would go away. So that's how I find, like yeah, I haven't taken any medicine, but still I have improved my health.
Yeah, yeah. So, like everything aligned in a proper way after starting meditation,
Yes.
health-wise and relationship-wise. And how is your bonding with each other, with entire family members?
Previously it was like everybody used to mind their own work. We never had that kind of friendly interaction. Like though we were siblings, we used to have quarrels, fights, everything, but beyond that, that friendship and the bonding wasn't that strong, I felt.
Mm-hmm.
But after we started doing meditation, all of our interest was like into meditation. What concepts are we going to listen? We used to have group meditation within the family, like evening before we start with the studies, after we come back from the school, we used to play different musics and songs sung by Patriji, like Dhyana Ganga, Dhyana Lahari, all these. So we used to play that, and we used to sit together doing meditation. So gradually all our interest, focus, everything started coming into a uniformity at a one point. Like we find ourselves different from what others are focusing. Like our cousins, everybody are into different streams, they find us like different. So that's how we started having the friendship within with each other. Previously also, like I used to have the inferiority complex. My sister is performing well in education, she is doing good, she is able to sing, she is able to dance, and everybody used to praise the first child. So that's how I had this kind of inferiority complex, that I am not better, I am not good enough to do this. So that's how I had those kind of feelings. But after I started doing meditation, it is like everybody are my friends. So if my friend is doing good, even I'll be able to do. So that inspiration and motivation was there, rather than feeling that jealousiness. So that's how
Mm.
the friendship started building within the family.
Yeah, and when you have friends in your home, you don't need to search outside, right?
Correct.
Yeah, yeah. And yes, your elder sister, Shalini ji. Shalini ji is really doing great from Pyramid Valley. Lot of things she's taking care of. So how this? I mean, and even I seen Divya, right? They are into lot of volunteer works. So, are you also interested in this kind of services?
Actually, when I started taking my career path, I asked Patriji, like my sister is totally into the spiritual work and she is not doing the routine, everyday mundane, like whatever the degree she had pursued, she isn't doing that kind of job and then earning a living, but rather she has dedicated her own life, whole life for this spiritual service. So I asked Patriji, can I also choose that path and then continue my life in this spiritual path itself? He was like, no, you have to do the profession. So both are required, both material life and spiritual life. So you go for that path. But it was all a great thing to have an inspiration from your own family, like your brother-in-law, your sister. Everybody is into the service. My mom also, she does so many spiritual works, conducts workshop, everything. So as youth, what is that we need to do? So what is that I can do, balancing my profession and the spiritual work? So this was the thought which was running for me and my younger sister also.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when we started doing workshops for the youth. So Pyramid Yuva Shakti is the team's name, and we started doing so many 21 days workshop. We used to arrange for masters call, and then each day we used to give sessions on Patriji's concept, preparing PPTs for that.
Mm-hmm.
So all these were kind of things which was running, and that's how I started. Like, though I was doing other support service, volunteering for events or something, full-fledged spiritual service daily continuing, that wasn't in my part of life. Only after this Pyramid Yuva Shakti came into place, I was able to give my contribution. I feel so satisfied with that.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, I mean that balancing both things are really important because you're a chartered accountant by profession, and at the same time you are volunteering and you are taking, conducting these sessions, classes. How do you balance both things?
So it's like I had this thought, I want to get into a job where I can balance both professional as well as my spiritual personal life.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I started taking up a role in a new company, and then I had the time after office hours. So office used to end at 6:30, and 7:30 to 8:30 was our daily sessions.
Mm-hmm.
So while coming from office to home, while traveling, I used to pick the concepts, what we can come up with today, what kind of PPTs can we make for them to understand it better. So all this coordination, everything goes. So it was like back to back, shifting from the professional life to spiritual life. So that was a well balanced one. And after a point, what had happened was, like, I had to take up an additional responsibility in my professional life because a person had left an organization. I had to take up that role. So after that additional role came into my professional thing, I wasn't finding much time for giving the sessions. So I was like having this question, I'm not satisfied. So I just had an introspection with myself, what is that I can do if not this? So I asked Patriji, anything it is, like right from the younger age, whatever it is, important decisions, any guidance, I used to seek Patriji's guidance, and he used to give me whatever he tells without applying my mind. I used to follow it blindly. So that's how it happened. Like after the 10th, I had to choose whether it was the commerce stream or the science stream, and I used to ask Patriji's guidance, and then he used to like give me. So that's how I chose commerce stream. Everybody were like, don't choose commerce, there wouldn't be any career, but I wanted to choose commerce. After I chose commerce, then what is the next thing I have to do for my graduation? I had some choices, and then I went to Patri. He said, okay, go for chartered accountancy. So that's how I came into chartered accountancy. So when the same situation came here, whether I had to continue the role in that job, how is that I can do? He said, go with the flow, whatever happens, just go with the flow. So then I started thinking, I'm not able to contribute much time to the spiritual service, but I am doing so much into the professional. So what is the additional benefit I'm going to get because of that? That I want to contribute to the spiritual life.
Yeah.
So that was the kind of thoughts which was running in my mind. And we used to have a culture in our work life where if you perform more than your standards, there are certain parameters. If you meet them, you will be able to get a reward which they provide. So there is a gold coin and other kind of emoluments you get. So when I started taking this additional responsibility, I got these kind of rewards. So whatever the rewards I got, I used to give them as a contribution to the spiritual side. So that's how, like, a kind of satisfaction I get.
Yeah, yeah. That's really a wonderful thing. I mean, balancing in such a way that you're balancing professional life as well, and the contribution you're putting indirectly, or I can say directly as well, because work is not different than spirituality. Work is as well spiritual work, right? I mean, your professional work. So this is something inspiring. And how was the journey of cracking this chartered accountant? Was it easy for normal people? I'm also commerce graduate, but it was not easy for me. Even I was thinking for ICW at that time, but it couldn't happen. So how was your journey? Was it really easy, or there were a lot of hurdles?
Of course, there were hurdles in my life, but to take up that course itself, it requires a kind of courage inside ourselves. So that courage I gained because of meditation. Previously, I didn't have that, but after I started doing this meditation only, I had the courage at least to choose that. Because previously, when I was not into meditation, even though I knew the right answer, when the teacher questions in the classroom, I wouldn't even have the guts to raise my hand and answer it, because I always had this kind of perspective: what would others think about me? What if my answer was wrong? Will they make fun of me? So these were the kind of thoughts which used to run in my mind. So I was so timid. But after I started meditation, at least I had this courage. So that's a transformation which I see in myself. So though I had the courage to take up this course and then do, I faced hurdles. Like, I used to have some attempts which I was not able to crack. But when I sit in meditation and I ask myself, I had never failed in any of my exams previously, but this is the first failure. How is that I can digest this? So should I underestimate my efficiency levels? Is this a wrong path which I chose? All these kinds of thoughts disturbing me. But when I sat into meditation in Patriji's presence, I got a answer through a song. So this Madhuram song was running, and there was like, success or failure, everything has to be treated in a equal
Equal
way.
way.
So you have to be in the middle path. You shouldn't be overwhelmed by your success, or you shouldn't be so much depressed by your failure. So everything is an experience. So your total life, whatever you're undergoing here, you have come here for experience. So you, so long you were facing success, so this failure is something which is going to be a temporary one. How are you going to face it? How are you going to treat it? So that's the challenge. So you have to take it as a lesson, and then you have to implement whatever you have learned so far in your life, is the message I got. So that's when I understood, okay, so this is a temporary phase. I shouldn't be depressed like how others are. So what makes a difference between a meditator and a non-meditator? Even though I meditated, I had so much of wisdom around me, I wasn't able to implement it. But after I got this message, I was like, yes, I have to be like this way. I have to think it in this dimension. So my perspective changed, and after I understood this, the lesson learning is completed, and I cracked the exam in the next
That's,
attempt.
yeah, that's great journey indeed, and the way you explained everything, like how to take it, that is beautiful thing. I mean, that whether success or failure, take it and accept it in a equal way, and not to get depressed. This is a beautiful answer for all youngsters, which is very much important in today's time, right? Yeah. So apart from this, do you get time for reading?
Yes, I read books now and then. So whatever the books we read, again we share it in Yuva Shakti, and then even like with the family, my mom is into so much into the books. So she reads so many Telugu books and other English books also suggested by Patriji.
Mhm.
So once she starts reading the book, she used to share whatever she has done. Like every day, we know like what book she is into, and we used to sit together as siblings. Like we used to sit together along with her, and then we used to ask her, what are the chapters you have read, what is that, what had happened. So that's how like we started having the interest to go and pick a book and then read it. So swadhyaya is also one very very important part in our life. So apart from doing meditation, we need to go to swadhyaya, because that gives a experience where you have a conversation directly with the author, though he's not in the person form. So through the book he's providing so much of wisdom, so you're able to connect with the characters or the other in, if you like you're reading an autobiography or something, you are able to connect with the person who is
Yeah.
explaining their life journey.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's very beautiful to
Yeah.
have the swadhyaya experience also.
Which books you liked most, and which kind of messages you like to give our audience through books?
I'm mostly into this autobiography kind. So the first book what I read was, I remember Swami Rama's Living with the Himalayan Masters.
Mm-hmm.
So how as a child he went to his guru, and what kind of tantrums he gave, and how his guru trained him, and how he understood each and everything through his own life journey, how he met so many Himalayan masters, what kind of transformation, like how he was so egoistic, but after few experiences he understood how to be humble. So that's so, like to his level the humbleness was there, but to my level, see, I am into the started accountancy, people praise me, so should I go by their praises or should I be humble? So Patriji is into so much of wisdom level, but still he's so humble. He shows hospitality, he is friendly to everybody irrespective of what age we are. So by reading these books, we are again and again coming back to the concept which Patriji teaches us. So there is so much new things to be learnt, though we know that we again touch upon those concepts by reading the books. And reading this book of Mundane to Magnificent, how the author had gone from astral travels, going inside our own self. She traveled inside herself, and then she found how each and every cell is working for her. So what is the magic this body is, and how many wonders this body can make, how each and every cell of ours is having a target, what kind of work they are doing for us, how, what kind of respect are we treating this body. So are we
Mm.
really respecting it, or are we taking it as granted? So these were the kind of questions which comes into my mind. Like each and every book has a different story and a
Yes.
different message.
Yeah.
So because of that, our respect for each and everything increases. We are able to understand the importance of everything.
Yes. I was getting a lot of thoughts when you were sharing, that understanding all these things, spirituality is not something different, but how you lead your life in a right way, right? So the stories and messages from these books are different, and what you are doing professionally is completely different, right? The financial figures and all logical things in that commerce background, in commerce field. So do you get paradox in your mind that these are the complete different lives, or you treat equally spirituality and uh, this, I mean, the chartered accountant life?
So being in that professional life, like you have to report to so many people in higher positions. So you are put into a situation where you have to undergo the stress and everything. So, but when I look at it at the perspective of a general person, there is a stress, you need to perform something within the time constraints, everything will be there, you have to take so many decisions, you will be having a team, you have to guide them, you have to extract work from them. So when you look at a that perspective, the personal life is different, professional life is different. But when I started meditating, and I was also undergoing the same experience. So I had this question inside me: what makes a difference between a person who is meditating and who is not meditating? So there should be some kind of difference, right? So then I started having an answer within myself. Like I found this answer. This office and other professional life what you're undergoing is also a part of your life, so you shouldn't be treating it as a separate one. So I rather find it as a field where I can uh, practice whatever I have learned. So when something happens in the office, all the colleagues, they all gather together, and then we start gossiping about our boss, about somebody who is doing this. So we keep judging them. He would have done that mistake, I know, last month also he did that. So that's when I started introspecting, and then I found Patriji told no judgment. So why am I sitting and judging this person? Patriji told no gossip. Gossip is cancer to the soul. So what is that I am doing here? So all these kind of concepts I am able to implement it in a right way. So that kind of circumstances which is being created because of the professional life, that is actually helping me to grow and implement whatever I have learned spiritually, like how to treat the subordinates. When something happens, success happens, the credit goes to the entire team. So when a great celebration happens, like Dhyana Mahachakra or whatever, Patriji doesn't take the credit, though he is the backbone of this society. He always used to appreciate everybody, he used to encourage everybody. So at this level he is doing so much. So at my level, when I have some 4 or 5 members in my team, when some credit comes, I shouldn't be taking it entirely to me, I have to spread it to everybody, I have to motivate everybody. So how Patriji teaches and treats everybody, that's how I have to do. So whatever he has taught, that 13 principles, 18 guiding principles, 13 practices, I try to implement in each and every circumstance when it comes. Like when I'm put into the kind of stress circumstances, what happens is I have this dominoes effect. My boss gives pressure to me and I have to give the same pressure. I put the same irritation, anger, everything to my subordinates. Then I start thinking, no, this is not the right way. So I again go back and then sit for 2 minutes, observing my breath. I calm down myself and then I stop that effect with myself. I shouldn't pass on this emotions to my subordinates because the outcome is not going to come in a proper way. They are not going to feel happy. Then I start having a candy and then I start reading some Patriji's concept in WhatsApp or something, this daily messages. Then I calm down and then my emotions are again in a balanced way, and then I start extracting the work in a friendly way from them. So that's how, like, the management principles, whatever, it is not just the spiritual concept he has taught. He has taught how to live, how to be, how to treat everybody. So these concepts can be implemented in the professional way also. So I asked him once in the 13 guiding practices, he has told, you have to do all the work but pass on the credit to everybody. You should not take the credit.
Wow.
So I asked Patriji, is this applicable only in the spiritual life or should it be in the professional life as well? Because when you don't take the credit, people will not respect you, is what I felt. So I asked him, why are you, Patriji's answer was like, why are you discriminating professional life, spiritual life? It's a life. You have to implement it. Whatever it is a concept which you have to implement. That's when I thought. Then I started doing this kind of passing on the credit to everybody, encouraging everybody, motivating everybody. My team felt so happy. I'm feeling so satisfied. I'm not having the guilt saying like I did this, but rather we did this. So that's how I feel satisfaction and happiness in my professional life also.
That's really a very eye-opening point of professional life, because yeah, uh, if we go through some pressure from our seniors, it's not easy always to balance ourselves. And the same thing normally people pass on to subordinates, as you mentioned. But taking those things, understanding those things, introspecting ourselves itself happened only through meditation.
Right. It's all because of the motivation. Like, he hasn't lived, he has lived his life teaching everybody, and whatever he has taught, he started following that. So we don't have to find something different. Whatever he has learned, he has followed. And that's an inspiration. He's a role model. Whether you be a student or in a corporate life, you can take the inspiration from him. Like any act, small gesture, that is enough for us to implement.
So beautiful. Yeah, yeah. And uh, being a guru, being a great friend, Patriji taught everything just by action.
True.
He never say, he never guide you directly that do this or do not do this, right? He just show you by doing. And what else you took from him? Which kind of learnings you have taken from him?
Mainly in the kind of implementation of whatever we know. Like certain times, when I got to know about this vegetarianism concept, I was born fortunately into a vegetarian family. But other than being vegetarian, we have to follow certain other food practices, like we shouldn't take garlic, we shouldn't consume mushroom, we shouldn't take honey, we shouldn't take microwave food. So all these were running. But whether is it practically possible, because we are into the professional circle, we go out with the friends, and at that time if we say no, no, I'm not going to consume this because this has a garlic, then the friends would treat us differently. But I wasn't following it, though I knew. But Patriji always told, if you know ABCD, start teaching people ABCD. So when I knew this concept from a Dhyana Mahachakra, when he told this concept of no garlic, no honey, no mushroom, I started telling people around. But there was a question inside me. I'm telling to everybody, but am I following it? How am I able to tell to somebody without me following it? I had this kind of guilt. Then I understood this concept of teaching to somebody is actually a locking system for you to practice it first, because you will not be able to teach to somebody without you practicing.
Very true. Yeah.
So Patriji, I heard from master saying, like when Patriji was in a liquid fasting, he wouldn't even take soup which has the garlic powder in it. So when he was traveling to so many places restlessly, he still followed whatever he thought. He never had this kind of cheat day. So how is that I can follow in my life? So because of being in a articleship and other chartered accountancy, because you have to travel to so many places.
Yes. Yeah.
So I had to be there in Delhi along with a group of people. We used to stay there for 2 months, 3 months to put together. So that was not possible for me. The first time when I went, I was not able to practice it. But the second time when I went, I took it as a challenge. I have to practice no garlic whatsoever. So I took only bread jam for the breakfast, chapati, and then raita for the lunch. And night I used to have the curd rice, salads. That's it. So rather than having all the food which others were having and having the guilt, having nothing and having just a minimal food was actually satisfying. I was satisfied, like I have implemented something what I have been telling to others, what I have been hearing from Patriji. So that's how my food practice, that stubbornness to practice whatever you learn, that I learned from Patriji mainly.
So they say doing all these things, being stubborn for food habits is really not easy for this generation when
Yeah.
all are having something very tasty. And didn't you feel that cravings in those times?
I had the craving. Yes, of course. Like even if a person gets converted from a vegetarian, non-vegetarian to vegetarian, he would still have the craving. But once you understand the truth behind it, because we are not here, Patriji doesn't insist anything just like that. You don't do this. You don't do this. He tells the principle behind. Why is that you shouldn't consume it? What happens if you consume it? So when you know the effect, the truth behind it, you wouldn't again have the kind of craving. And I also had this kind of mindset, like my friends would ignore me if I kind of have a different practice. But once I started implementing it seriously, I wanted to do it. What happened was my friends circle, everybody around me, they understood me so well. Like before I start ordering something, they used to order saying like, make it without garlic. So they are so strong, they support me so much. And when there is a corporate lunch and everything goes, the vegetarian lunch is being served, but we do not know in the serving whether that dish has a garlic or not. I fortunately have my friends who can have the sniff test for me. They sniff and then they tell this has garlic, so don't get it served. So they kind of support me in every aspect, though they are a non-vegetarian or other people around me, they still prefer to go for a vegetarian restaurant when we go for a team lunch, saying like Deepika wouldn't prefer this kind of restaurant, so we will go for a vegetarian restaurant. And they fight with the waiter if something is being ordered without garlic, but still if it is being served with garlic, they go and fight for me. How can you serve in this way? So I had this kind of friendship. So it is up to us. If we stand strong on our truth, our principles, automatically our environment will also be in the way which gets adapted to ourselves.
Yeah, yeah, that's very true. When you have very strong intention and when you want to implement it, everything will help you. All surrounding and people will help you. That's wonderful thing. As you said, you were vegetarian from earlier, but when you left that garlic, particular garlic mushroom, could you make a difference in energy level or maybe in thoughts level?
Exactly. so much of difference, because when you consume garlic, like I used to have this box of garlic powder, which is being spread for dosa. That tastes so beautiful, amazing. But once Patriji told no garlic, this had to be thrown away just like that. We had a microwave and we had to throw it just like that. So we understood from Patriji's concept that food is not just something which you stuff inside yourself. Food is a form of energy you are giving to your own self. So once we understood that, we used to take food consciously, like what kind of food we are having, who has cooked it, how has it been prepared, whether it is prepared in a loving way. So what kind of vessels is being used, whether when we go to some places, people use the same vessel for both veg
Veg
and
and
non-veg.
yeah.
So what kind of vessels are being used, so all these kind of came into the consciousness, and we certainly found the difference, like the vibration, the satisfaction you get when you eat the food, the kind of emotions you undergo. Sometimes you are compelled to eat something with garlic, and you say like, okay, it's a cheat day, let me do some more hours of meditation practice to have the subsiding effect, is the kind of thoughts which run. But those days where I used to have the garlic dish, no, I had this kind of emotions like jealousy or anger, hatred. All these were like more than the normal level it has to be. So that used to be the more level. Like a simple thing would have happened, but I used to feel so jealous. How come she alone did this? How come he is being credited for this? Then when I introspect, I feel no, this should not be the kind of emotion I should be spitting out. I should actually encourage and motivate. I should appreciate the person for getting this reward, but rather I'm feeling jealous. Why is it? Okay, I had this food, it has a garlic element in it, that's the reason. So the kind of emotions you undergo, that will have a drastic difference.
So yeah, that conscious and awareness things increased, and we can make difference and make sense also.
Certainly.
Yeah, that's wonderful thing. So thank you for sharing all things in scientific way, not just yeah, because earlier days, uh, before coming into meditation, though our parents or maybe senior people, they used to suggest in so many ways, and we used to have a lot of questions, logical mind, that why we should not take these things. Even I am from vegetarian family, but they never know, they before coming into meditation, there was not clarity that why we are not taking even non-vegetarian food. So here in PSSM, things are very scientific. That's why Sir Patri sir always suggested to be spiritual scientist, not just following blindly, but be scientist and practice it on your own self. That's wonderful thing. Yeah. So, Deepika, do you use pyramid, and have you felt the pyramid energy in your life?
Yes. So whenever I am meditating, like most of the times, I sit in the pyramid. We have a 4x4 pyramid at our home, and we used to sit under this pyramid and then meditate. So there is a lot of difference between meditating outside the pyramid and inside the pyramid. So you get into that like when you're so much into this daily routine life, so many thoughts run, like what would my boss be doing, will he be questioning me about this work, what is my friends doing. So all these kinds of thoughts run when you sit into meditation. So going from that no thoughtful to no thought state will take some amount of time, but when you sit under the pyramid, there is a difference, like you get into that no thought state very easily. Like you can go to that calmness state, and you will find that you can sit for more hours in meditation. So generally if you do for 20 minutes, if I sit under pyramid and then do, I can do for another 20 minutes additionally. So it's like you can double the time of practice also. So that's very nice to use the pyramid. And on every storage item, no, like the cooking items, the dal, everything, rice, every box has a pyramid cap on it. The water has a pyramid cap on it. The fridge has a pyramid on it. The fruits basket has a pyramid on it. So everything stays fresh. Everything is with energy when you put pyramid, when you use pyramid. And whenever I'm down with fever or any physical illness, I take a pyramid cap and then place it on me, and then I sit in meditation. And within 1 or 2 hours of listening to the flute music and then going into meditation, when I come out, I feel the energy levels inside me has increased. So that's how the pyramids are so much healing, so much of energy it provides.
Yeah, that's really. Thank you for sharing your pyramid experiences, because yeah, everyone go through it. Even I used to have cervical issue for 7 years, and here in Kadtal itself, when I did it continuously for 12 days meditation, that pain was completely cured of 7 years. So it was really miracle in my life. So great, Deepika, to have you and to know you better. And you are the real inspiration for all youngsters. The way you started from childhood and the way you transformed yourself is wonderful. So at last, a beautiful message to our audience.
So everybody has to meditate, whatever is your age, irrespective of that, because meditation is helpful in our life, in our transformation, irrespective of what age we are, whether we are a youngster, we are at the school level or college or a graduate, or as in a professional life, whatever it is, we have to meditate, because meditation is not something it is going to provide a fixed kind of benefit. Whatever is required in your life, meditation is going to satisfy you. So you will feel completely happy, and you will feel that satisfaction, your life purpose, you will be able to understand more by doing meditation. So please do meditate, and then spread about meditation to all your friends, family, everybody, and watch PMC, read books, do whatever Patriji has taught us so much. So whatever is possible, we have to follow it, practice it.
That's beautiful message. And meditation is only uh, the one and only solution for each and everything. So thank you, Deepika, for sharing your wisdom, for sharing your journey with us. I'm really glad to meet you, and thank you.
Thank you so much for giving this opportunity to share my experience here. Yeah.